So this is definitely an impromptu episode. Listen, I had this on my mind because I have gotten 2 messages from people who are dealing with a relationship. And I know we spoke on another episode about relationships, but can I just pour into you for a minute about your worth? Listen, the relationship that did you bad, that had no sense of respect in the middle, and a correlation between you and that other person deserves to be annulled. It deserves to not happen. Because many times if we keep going in with what we know and what we see and what we experience, knowing that the person is no good for us, they tear us apart. And what are we left with? Emptiness, right? We lose sight of who we are. We lose sight of our own being. We don't even have the capacity to move forward and honor ourselves. So the person who was not for you, be gracious that they're no longer in your life. They showed you something on the other end of this. Yeah, I get it, baby. You got your tears. You've been crying and sulking. I mean, the experience that you had with this person, it means something. But how many tears did you shed because of the disrespect that they gave you in the relationship, not honoring and loving you the way that they should have? Many times we get caught up in the longevity of it. We want it to last because breaking up means that it's somewhat of a failure, that we didn't do what was right, that if we would have held on a little while longer, if we would have poured a little bit into another person, maybe if we would have just allowed things to happen a little while longer, it would have gotten better. Well, let me tell you something. Many times it doesn't. And I never want another person to put themselves in a state of mind, a frame of thinking, in a space where they allow the disrespect to happen over and over and over again. I do believe that people change. I won't take that back from those who have shown themselves in change. But in the sense of it and staying there, how much of you has been lost? How much of you regret that you let it go on for so long? And then the question is, how much did you benefit from staying into something where the disrespect was so loud? You got to give yourself grace, but you also have to give yourself understanding. And you have to move into a place where you understand that that was your then, this is your now. What are you going to do moving forward? Are you going to honor and love yourself more? Because see, listen, you're in a broken state and I get it. You aren't thinking rational thoughts. You are going back to the experiences that you had. You keep grabbing into the good pieces of the relationship, trying not to think of the bad, all of the love that you put into someone else. But don't you know that love is not broken, that people don't throw you pieces of them and say, here, do as you may. That's not fair. That's not fair. Would you do that to someone else? Would you want them to have pieces of you? You know, many times we have to be selfish about love. We have to be selfish about ourselves. We have to be selfish with expectations. Stop allowing people to mow you over and stop being disrespected over and over. You are not a rag doll to be thrown around and picked apart. That is not what you are here for. Many of you have the capacity to be loved and honored, and you have the capacity to give it as well. Why sit idle while someone can't give you the biggest part of them? Why sulk and cry over something that really did you a favor by not being with them in the first place? And the harsh reality is, the truth of the matter is, they didn't deserve you. So now that they're gone out of your life, wipe your tears. I know it's easier said than done. I realize that. But wipe your tears. What are you crying for? Why are you reinventing these visions and these what ifs? What if what? What if you would have stayed and continued to be disrespected? Okay, so they moved on. They got somebody new. Okay, that's none of your business. That's nothing that you can stop, nothing that you can continue. Why want them back? They gave you parts and they made you feel broken. You want that? I also want to dig deeper into why it is that we stick around in situations like this, or we pull into circumstances when someone has truly shown us who they are, baby. I know that parts of you have been broken before the relationship ended and before the relationship started. Somebody broke your heart. They did. And parts of you just want something from someone to offer you some form of love. The consistency made you feel as if you were doing the right thing, you were on the right path, and you had your own. I know it's overwhelming when you think about it. Again, I'm going to tell you to give yourself grace, honor yourself. You are learning, you are discovering, but let's not do this again. Also, give yourself the opportunity to stay right there and learn more about what makes you want to love you first and then them. Take this moment to just be appreciative that you weren't drug in the dirt more than what you were. The embarrassment, the foolishness that you put up with, the lies, the deceitfulness, the ins and out of a relationship that flowed, but not really flowing in a positive aspect, dragging you further and further behind. I get it when you are no longer tacked together. It is a loss. It is a grief. You don't have that other person by your side. But I promise on the other side of this, you let the days and the weeks and the months go by. When you begin to work more and more on yourself, baby, you will see just how justified this ending was. Because you get to start over, re-love and relearn yourself, and also find someone who is going to love all parts of you, not break you down. I promised this wasn't going to be long, but I wanted to give something that was reassuring to your heart and to let you know that you are on the right path, and it's okay that the breakup was what it was. Stop festering in something that did nothing for you. Honor the situation for what it was and just be thankful that God put a stop to it the way that he did. Yeah, time was wasted, years, months, days. Your I love yous were wasted. Your tears, they flowed. I see you there on your knees crying to God. I get it. I understand. Many of us have been there. But guess what? Don't let this break you down. You're so powerful. Be willing to reinvent this part of your life so that you are stronger, and that the love that you are able to give is just heightened tenfold, and the next person that comes to you will appreciate the love that you are able to give. But I also want to tell you as well before I leave, forgive yourself for even the thoughts that you had in the moments where you were by yourself, or maybe you blamed yourself, or maybe you understood that you had some place in the demise of a relationship. Either way, it didn't encourage something healthy and positive. Therefore, it had to end. Just be thankful that you're not in it anymore. Again, it was a quick podcast episode. I felt like somebody needed it. There's so many people suffering in love and relationships. It's not fair. It's not, but it's a learning lesson. And it equips us with much of what we need, because sometimes we can be a bit naive when it comes to love and lust and understanding and connections. And it builds character. It builds self-awareness. You'll know on the other side of this how you'll come through. All right, y'all. That was it for today.